I am so pleasantly surprised. From Beer to Eternity is the ninth episode of the fourth season of Cheers, directed, of course, by the wonderful James Burrows. And the reason I'm surprised is because I ended up not really caring about the episodes of Cheers that focus on the rivalry with Gary's Old Town Tavern. I won't say too much about future episodes other than this does come up quite a few times. And by the end of it, I was just really bored of that part of the episodes. So when I realized I was about to rewatch this episode, because I had such a negative overall experience in my mind, this wasn't a good episode. But actually, rewatching it now, I loved it. Maybe I will love the other Gary's Old Town Tavern episodes when we get there. We'll see. I will, as always, go in with an open mind. But for now, From Beer to Eternity was so much better than I remembered. So there will be spoilers from now as I go through various aspects of the episode and things that I particularly enjoyed. It starts off with a brilliant opening with Cliff walking into Cheers with his new sunglasses. He looks brilliant. I don't know if that's the right word to use, but I love it. And Carla kind of encourages him to give a demonstration of his newfound confidence. The woman uses his sunglasses as a mirror. Very entertaining start, particularly with some great retorts from Carla as well. And then the main narrative kicks in, and the guys and Carla come back from having lost a game against Gary's Old Town Tavern. And Sam begins to worry that the jocks will leave Cheers and they will end up going to Gary's. And Diane has a brilliant response to that by mimicking or making fun of the jocks. And then Sam tries to soak her as she leaves. And then the next thing we see is Cliff coming out of the corridor wiping his sunglasses, with the implication there that Sam has drenched his face. It was brilliant. Absolutely loved it. And then Gary, played by Joel Polis, walks into Cheers and he announces that he's come in to thank them for such a good game. At least it was a good game for Gary. And it's so brilliant. We have Norm wearing the baseball mitt and this brilliant 2 seconds of Carla about to smash a tray over his head. And Carla suggests that the next game they have is bowling. And Gary agrees, and Gary and Sam have this little shouting match as Gary leaves the bar, and then Carla reveals that the reason she suggested bowling is because Cheers is full of, in her words, out-of-shape couch potatoes. And she indicates that those are the kinds of people who tend to excel at bowling. And there's this great moment where everybody in Cheers is really excited by this description and they suddenly think, yes, we can do this. And everybody's really enthusiastic. Everybody except Woody. And Carla finds out that Woody knows how to bowl. He's very good at bowling, but he doesn't because of the tragedy. And it takes a couple of minutes for us to find out what this tragedy is. We never get all of the details, but basically, he, in his words, maimed a man in the bowling incident. Norm tries to give him a pep talk. It doesn't work. It's clearly really bothering him, so he doesn't go along. And then we get the scene at the bowling alley where the rest of the episode, pretty much the rest of the episode, takes place. And this is really exciting because we basically never leave Cheers as the show goes on. We do get other sets, but we never go out in public. To be in a public place like a bowling alley is completely unheard of, and this is so exciting, and it's such a great environment. It's really well done. We mostly focus on the Cheers gang. We obviously, Gary's team is bowling beside them. We do get little bits of them, but mostly we focus on the Cheers gang, and they're not doing very well. But then Diane brings Woody, and it turns out they closed the bar for this to happen, and seeing Diane in this environment is so exciting and so different, and it's so sweet to see the whole gang together. Well, most of the whole gang together. Frasier is still, at this point, not a Cheers regular. He's in it a bit, but not enough for my liking. But other than that, everybody's together, they're having a great time, and well, they're kind of having a great time because they're not necessarily doing very well, but it's really great to see. And what I love about this, there are 2 things that I love that happened. One, Woody decides to step up and he's about to bowl and he's really struggling with this. And Sam approaches him and tells him it's okay. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to. And he ultimately doesn't. And I love that they weren't forcing Woody to do something he wanted to do. So Diane steps up and reveals that she can bowl, and she decides to do it. And the reason she's good at bowling is because she took 6 semesters of bowling at college because she needed a PE credit, which I just thought was fantastic and also pretty great because I don't do sports. I don't play sports. But if I had to have a sports credit, bowling would be a pretty good one to go with. I say that. I hate bowling. I find it so tedious. But as Diane points out, you can read in between bowlings. So I actually completely agree with Diane. And I think that was a pretty smart thing to do. And then she bowls, she gets a strike. It's amazing. And then we see her being carried into cheers and everybody's chanting chambers. And even Carla said something nice to her. And it's really the first time where Diane is treated like one of the gang. That's not to say she's always been pushed outside, but here she's actually part of it and part of the excitement, and it's beautiful and it's really lovely to see. And as I said, I am so pleasantly surprised by how much I loved this episode. I'm pleased that I was able to watch it without letting my general dissatisfaction of Gary's Old Town Tavern stories affecting my enjoyment. And I will, as I said, whenever I watch the future ones, I will watch them with hope that my opinion will have changed. But either way, From Beer to Eternity is a brilliant episode with so many wonderful moments. Much to my surprise, I absolutely loved it.